Hello guys, welcome to Learn In. My name is Nse. Here is some information. We are starting a MySQL series here on Learn In where we will be writing SQL using MySQL command line client and MySQL workbench. This series will cover SQL from beginner level to advanced. So, if you or anyone you know would like to learn SQL from scratch, subscribe to Learn In and turn on the notification bell. That way, you will be notified each time a new video is posted. You may also want to like and share this video. Let's get started. What is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is basically a programming language used for managing and manipulating relational databases. If this sounds like a lot to you right now, don't be bothered. Just think of SQL like the language the database understands. I promise all this will definitely get clearer as we progress. Now, from the much that's been said so far, you can already tell that SQL works on databases. Sometimes you would hear people say SQL, sometimes you hear people say SQL. I'm going to be using it interchangeably here. That's just by the way. So, because SQL works on databases, it is therefore necessary to understand what a database is. A database is a structured collection of data. Databases are designed to store and organize large amounts of data. With databases, you definitely have a structured format for storing data, typically using tables with rows and columns or other data structures such as graphs, key value pairs, etc. There are different types of databases. In this lesson, we are going to consider the two major types of database: relational databases and non-relational databases. Relational databases are characterized by their tabular structure, predefined relationships between tables, and the use of SQL to query and manipulate data. On the other hand, non-relational databases do not use tables. They use any other data structure such as graphs, key value pairs, etc. They also use NoSQL for data manipulation. NoSQL stands for not only SQL. So simply put, you can say that databases that use tables are known as relational databases, whereas databases that do not use tables are called non-relational databases. Recall that I earlier mentioned that SQL is used for managing and manipulating relational databases. So in this course, we will only consider relational databases and nothing about non-relational databases whatsoever. By now, we already know that relational databases organize data into tables, where each table consists of rows and columns, kind of like in spreadsheets. Just like this, we have the columns and we have the rows. Going vertically, that's from top to bottom, you have columns. Going horizontally, that's from left to right, you have the rows. Columns are known as the fields. They represent the table headers. This table that we have here has headers, 1, 2, 3, 4 headers, and that shows that this table has 4 columns. The headers are this customer ID, name, address, email. Now, the rows are known as the records. The rows show the actual data entries. In this case, our data entries are all this data arranged horizontally, that's from left to right. We have 001, we have this Joe, we have 123 ABC Street, and so on. 002, we haven't said, we have 456 or XYZ Street, and we have this email. So what this tells us is that this table stores information about customers, and every customer has an ID, every customer has a name, every customer has an address, and every customer has an email. And so these fields make up the table headers, and each of these fields represents a column on this table. And then under each of these fields, the customer ID, name, address, email, we go ahead to enter specific data about each of the customers. Now, these data entries happen along the rows. If you find this confusing, just don't bother. As we progress, we are going to see how to create a database, and we are going to see how to create tables into this database, and we are also going to see how to enter data into the tables. You may want to note that SQL makes it easier to work with large amounts of data and perform various operations such as querying for specific information. Say you have lots of data from huge sales and would like to note specific data about it, like which product sold most or which product had the worst sales, etc. And imagine that you had to do that manually. It would be really tough. That's where SQL comes in. SQL will help you to get this data very easily and very quickly. So, in this series, we are going to be writing lots of SQL code. We are going to see how to create a database. We are going to see how to create tables within this database. We are going to see how to insert data in these tables. Just to further emphasize, using SQL, we are going to see how to create a database. We are going to see how to create tables within the database, and we are going to see how to insert data in tables. We will see how to insert data in tables, retrieve, update, and delete data from tables. We will also see how to drop a table as well as how to drop a database. This is to say that we are going to write SQL statements or queries. To write SQL queries, we need a database management system. A database management system is simply a software application that enables you to interact with databases, manage data, and perform various operations on the data stored within a database. We are going to see how this works. Some examples of database management system are MySQL, Oracle database, etc. However, in this course, we will use MySQL. And to be able to use MySQL, you have to install MySQL on your computer. Let's see how to do that. You have to install MySQL based on your operating system. For Windows, visit this link. I'll provide it in the description. For Mac, visit this link. It has also been provided in the description. For me, it's Windows, so I am going to come here, and there are some options listed that you could use. but I want to use the installer method. And the first step in using the installer method is to download the installer from this link provided here. So just click on this link and click on download here. I don't need to log in or sign up, so I'll just come here and click start my download and wait for it to download. You have to install MySQL based on your operating system. For Windows, visit this link. I'll provide it in the description. For Mac, visit this link. It has also been provided in the description. For me, it's Windows, so I am going to come here and there are some options listed that you could use, but I want to use the installer method. And the first step in using the installer method is to download the installer from this link provided here. So just click on this link and click on download here. I don't need to log in or sign up, so I'll just come here and click start my download and wait for it to download. Now that the download is done, come here, click on this icon, click open. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Click yes. Here we have to choose a setup type. So I'll choose custom. That's because I want to control how the installation happens. Click next here, and here we have to select MySQL server because it's part of the products we need. So on this select products window, click on this first MySQL servers, click on MySQL server, click MySQL server 8.0 and click on the first one here and click on this arrow to move it to the right side of the screen where products to be installed are kept. Now you can click on this minus sign now to close it. For applications, we need the MySQL workbench, so I'll click on it and let's select this workbench and click this arrow again, and let's go back to product. We need MySQL shell, so I will click on it and then I'll select this first one here and click on this arrow to push it to the right side. Let's go back and select router. So I'm going to select this first one too and send it this way. For connectors, I'm going to select this, come back and select this, and come back and select this, come back and select this. And now that we've selected all the products that we need, let's click next. Let's click next again. So now these are all the products that we've selected and they are ready to be downloaded. So let's click execute and wait. Now that the products are all downloaded as shown here, come here and click next. We are now ready to install all those products. So click execute and wait. Now the installation is done. As indicated here under the status here, everything is complete. So let's click next. Let's click next again. We are going to leave this as it is and just click next. Authentication method, leave as is with this recommended option checked. Click next. We have to enter root password. You will need this password when MySQL starts. So it is very important that you choose a password that you can easily remember. I'm going to enter my password and I'm going to repeat it. Good, my password strength is strong. That's nice. So I'm going to click next here. I'm going to click next again, and I'm going to click next. Then to apply all those changes that we've made, I am going to click execute here. And finally, we can say finish. Okay, we're back to product configuration. So we'll now walk through a configuration wizard for each of these products. So let's just work with my SQL installer here. Click next and click finish. Next. And I promise this is the last finish. Click finish here. Okay, we have my SQL shell open here. I don't need it yet, so I'm going to close it. I'm going to close this. We'll come back to it. Now come here, type my SQL, click my SQL command line client. Here, I'm going to enter the password that I created and then hit the enter key of my keyboard, and we are ready to write SQL. So here we can just say select 2 plus 2, type a semicolon, hit enter, and we have a result displayed here. 2 plus 2 is 4. This shows that our command line client is successfully installed and it's working properly. Let's go to my SQL workbench. Come back here, type my SQL, and it is the workbench that we want, so click on it. We already have my SQL connections established for us. Click here, type in the password, and here we have our workbench open. So my SQL workbench is basically an editor for typing and running SQL queries or statements. We have a file here open already, just like we did on the command line client. Let's be sure that this works. Let's just say select, and I'm going to do 2 plus 2 again, and I am going to end with a semicolon. Now this works a bit differently from the command line in the sense that enter is not going to run this query. So to run this query, click on this lightning bolt here, this icon here. Notice that it says here execute the statement under the keyboard cursor. So that means that it is only this line that has this cursor that is going to run when we click this icon, and it runs successfully because we have 4 displayed here. Now let's add another line of code to it. Let's say select, this time 3 plus 3. Let's end with a semicolon. I'm going to close this so that we'll be able to spot the difference. Because we have the cursor here, if I click on this icon, it is only this line 2 that executes. I'm going to close that. We have this icon here, and this icon is going to execute everything in this query. So let's click on it. If you look here on the terminal, you're going to notice that we have 2 results displayed here. This result is for the first line of code here, that's 2 plus 2, and the second result is for this second line of code here, that's 3 plus 3. This is all that we're going to talk about in this lesson. In the next lesson on this series, we are going to see how to create a database. we are going to see how to create tables, and we are going to insert data into these tables and many other cool stuff like that. For now, if you have any questions or comments, please say them in the comment section. Do not forget to like the video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for watching. See you in the next lesson.